Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you guys how I do my meal prepping for all 3 meals of the day and my 2 snacks. So first up, very simple, I do breakfast. I usually boil some eggs, or you can fry them depending on your preference, and I have some bacon. My bacon, I usually do it on the microwave, so it's not a big deal. You don't have to stress about it. You can fry it if you want, but personally for me, I like it when it's not crispy, when it actually tastes like meat. So yeah, so I just package that up nicely. I'm gonna list down below where I bought all my containers, and I'll make sure to tell you guys of all the recipes, like in terms of the measurements and everything that you guys might need to know. So that is it. I make sure I do for the entire week when I can, that way it's easier. So now up for lunch, I started up with making my Brussels sprouts. I cut up some cucumbers, I have some feta cheese, and I have sweet corn. Brussels sprouts, you can literally just put them in the oven, some oil, a little bit of garlic. That's pretty much it. Over here you can see me chopping up my cucumber. What I do is I slice it in half, and then I slice the halves into half, so basically in quarters, and then I just slice them into little pieces. I like it when it's much more manageable and something that I can put in my mouth easily without like it being too big or too chunky. So that's what I'm doing over here. And then I take some chicken. I happen to have some leftover chicken breasts, so I'm chopping them up nicely. You can actually use thighs, I think, but honestly I think chicken breasts are the most lean, so I think it will be better for weight loss, because this meal prep is for weight loss. So I just chop them up until I'm happy with the size. I'm actually going to chop them up further a bit later on, but right now I just want it so that I can cook it. Then I take my chicken spice. You can use whichever spice you want, but I like using the 3 spices, which is chicken, barbecue, and steak and chops. You can use a bit of raja as well, but I think I added the raja when my chicken was already in the pan. So that is me doing that over here. I am just spicing up my chicken, doing all my seasoning properly. Oh yes, you also have to make sure to add salt, because even though you're adding spices, salt has its own place, okay? It will add a bit more flavor if you add salt. So now over here you can already see that my chicken is already cooked, and I'm just dancing to some music because I was listening to music while I was meal prepping. And then I just chop up my chicken into smaller pieces. I think it's much easier to cook the chicken when it's a bit chunkier as opposed to cooking it when it's much smaller. So that's my chicken over there. And now I take that huge bowl that had all the Brussels sprouts and the other items, and I put in my pasta. So this is just normal pasta. I actually like using pasta bowls because I think it's much more prettier, but you can use whichever pasta you want. And you can actually take this a step further and use whole grain pasta, the brown one. So I just mix this all up, okay, and I haven't added the chicken yet. So this over here is a dressing that I make on my own. I'm gonna make sure to list it down below in the description bar with the actual recipe of the dressing. This is so delicious, you guys. It's much better than anything you're gonna find in the store. So I make this, and it lasts a long time. When I say I've had that for over a month in my fridge, and it was still perfectly fine. And then next up, I'm using this Robinson spice. I am also gonna list it down below because I forgot which one it is. I think it's the roast one with rosemary and garlic, and that actually really helps with the flavor as well, because if you've noticed, the only thing that's been seasoned within the salad is the chicken, and it's not enough to bring flavor. So the salad dressing and the Robinson spice, oh yes, and this garlic powder from Woolworths, it really gives flavor. I actually like particularly the one from Woolworths, because I tried buying one from Robinson's, but to be fair, it wasn't garlic powder, it was crushed garlic, and it just did not taste the same. So I would really recommend that you get the one from Woolworths. So I just mix this all up, and then if you are not using a lot of chicken, you can just use it to top up, like not on top, so it looks much more prettier. But if you're using a lot of chicken, you can actually mix it within the salad. but I wanted mine to be on top because I didn't have a lot of chicken and I just wanted to be able to see it. Then I can actually pick it out with the fork when I am eating the salad. And then I've already plated up, or rather put it into containers, my salad. And now I'm gonna add a bit more feta. I actually love feta. My favorite one is actually not this one. This one is a Clover brand. My favorite one is the Food Lovers store brand feta. It's just so delicious. So I just crumble that on top, and it just makes it more delicious, you guys. And this salad is actually very delicious. You can actually have this even if you're not trying to lose any weight. It's just a really good recipe. And yeah, that's it over there, all plated up and looking good. And I just make sure to close up my containers. I bought these containers from Westpack. I'm gonna try to find them online, and then I'm gonna link them below for you guys. And I feel like these ones are much better because they last a bit longer, you know. So that's that. I just make sure to stack them nicely, and I put everything in the fridge immediately, okay, because pastas, and especially it being summer, they can get bad real quickly. So now for dinner, okay, so this is one of my favorite things to make. So you just take up a whole bunch of vegetables. I took sweet potato, some onions, some bell peppers, red and yellow. I put some broccoli, and I put some beetroot. You just chop it up nicely and you put it on your sheet pan. And then you drizzle some oil. You can use olive oil if you want, or you can use a blend of seed. I think that's a blend of seed and olive oil from Food Lovers. And then you just season that with salt, which is what I'm doing over there. And then I also use black pepper. You have to season up properly, okay? Especially, you guys can see how stacked that sheet pan is. So I'm using a lot of vegetables. And then here you guys can see I'm using the same garlic powder that I bought from Woolworths. This gives so much flavor, you guys. If you have balsamic vinegar, I would also suggest that you use that because it makes it taste even better, but I didn't have any balsamic vinegar. Then you just need to mix it all up, okay? Make sure you separate your onions, and you don't chop them into cubes. You just chop them into slices so that you can have nice long onions and long peppers. This is just so delicious, you guys. Another recipe that you can make, and it looks so beautiful. Can you see how good that looks? Another recipe you can make even if you're not trying to lose weight, okay? So yeah, that's that. You mix it all up and then you roast it in the oven. I usually do 180 degrees Celsius, and maybe for about 45 minutes to an hour. You have to mix it in between though. You can't just leave it in there for an hour. And the onions do tend to burn up, but it's perfectly fine. You just mix it throughout. And when it's done, I pack that all up. And over there, you guys can see me dishing up some brown rice. I specifically like brown rice because it's much healthier than white rice. If you have something healthier or a different preference, you can certainly use that. Maybe like couscous or something else, some sort of other grain that is healthy, you can use that. But I have brown rice. It's actually cheap and I enjoy eating it. So yeah, that's what I'm doing over there. I'm I'm dishing up my brown rice. And for my protein, I actually used pork because I had a lot of pork when I was coming back from home. But I can suggest that you use chicken breast, because chicken breast is very healthy. I'm not sure how healthy the pork is, but I have to say I didn't really notice any difference in terms of like feeling like it's not working or I'm not losing any weight. I was actually looking good after like a few weeks. So yeah, that's it. I just pack up my dinner. And the nice thing about meal prepping is you don't necessarily have to stick to dinner, lunch, and breakfast. You can switch things up because you already have everything made, you know. So yeah, that's everything in the fridge, all packed up nicely. Yeah, I actually like this. It's just so easy. Like, meal prepping is the best thing you can do for yourself if you're trying to lose weight, okay? So now for snacks, I'm going to make these chocolate balls. I saw the recipe online, and once again, it's going to be listed down below. So I'm taking some dates, okay? So I'm just removing the pits from the dates. I am just cutting them up, removing the pits, and then I'm going to put it in a measuring cup. So that's actually 1 cup. Okay, I think the recipe calls for 2 cups of dates, not sure. but like I said, everything will be down below. Then I'm also using some almonds. You can use any sort of nuts you have. Then I'm going to take some cocoa powder, and I think I'm using 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, unsweetened cocoa powder. I'm putting it in my food processor. Unfortunately, this is a recipe that you can't make if you don't have a food processor. I'm pretty sure maybe you can use a blender as well. And then I'm using a bit of salt, and I'm using my almond breeze milk. I'm sure you can use normal milk if you want. And then I'm going to put in a bit of vanilla essence as well. So I close that up and I put it on the food processor, and it makes this like sticky situation, like, you know, this milled up like sticky thing, so you have to roll with your hands. It's a bit messy, I can't lie, but I feel like it's worth it, because if you're meal prepping, you really don't want to be like indulging in chocolate or anything like that. So yeah, it looks this good, so you can actually have some bit of chocolate but a healthier version of it. And I put this in the fridge. I have to say mine was a bit wet, so yeah, that was that, hence I needed to put it in the fridge immediately. So another form of snack that I eat when I'm meal prepping, or rather when I'm eating healthy for weight loss, is some nuts. And I always count 14 nuts, because this one time when I was meal prepping, I saw a meal plan that said you have to eat 14 nuts, and I've always kept to that. And another thing you can have is just fruit when you are looking for a snack. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah.